When it comes to finding desk accessories for your home office, I always like to keep it simple, useful, and functional. This means that I don't buy all of the expensive stuff that I know I'm not going to use, and instead I buy things that I'm going to be using daily for both my full-time job as well as content creation. Now the first two will be wireless charging stands, and I'm a big fan of using a wireless charger for my accessories, so for my Apple Watch and my iPhone. And for my Apple Watch, I got this one from Amazon. It's called the Macaulay Apple Watch charger stand. I'm sure you can find other similar ones on Amazon, but I got this one because it allows me to use my original Apple Watch charger, which since the Series 7 is a little bit faster than any other of the charger pucks. So because of that, I made sure that I kept to use, or I wanted to keep using the one specifically from Apple. So I was looking for a stand that took that puck, and then I was still allowed to use that one, but it also allowed me to not have the cables running everywhere. I can have kind of like a home for my Apple Watch so that I can always connect it, always have it on my desk. And then as well as having that nightstand feature, I can always glance over or I can tap it and it'll show me the time and the date and my next alarm, which obviously if I'm working on my desk, I don't need my next alarm, but it is nice to see the time there whenever I need it. Now the stand is black and the cable is white, so unfortunately you can't see the cable if that's something important to you, but it does have some cable routing, meaning you can go ahead and put away the cable neatly and then route it out to the back of the stand. That way it's not just dangling there or it's not just hanging. So that is really nice. I really like the stand. And they also have a silver option in case you want to go with a light mode or a lighter one than the black one. The second accessory I recommend that you get is a wireless charging stand for your iPhone. Now, if you do have the new iPhone, you will get always on display, which again is really nice to be able to see the time at a glance or even see all of your notifications pop up. You will see exactly what the notification is, or if you've set that to privacy mode, you will at least see the icon so you know whether it's something important or not. The wireless charging stand is compatible with all wireless charging devices. So if you're someone that has two phones, maybe you have one for work and then your personal phone, it will be able to charge everything from Android as well as the Apple iPhones as well. Now I did like that this stand also has a little LED indicator in case your phone doesn't light up or doesn't tell you exactly if it's charging or not. A little blue light will light up at the bottom letting you know that it's charging. Now unfortunately this doesn't charge as fast as the MagSafe charger. So I think I will be upgrading to a stand that is compatible with the MagSafe, that just like the Apple Watch charger allows you to kind of hook up the MagSafe puck itself and then route the cable out back. Just because I've been noticing that I'm not really getting as fast of a charge as I would like, and I find myself a lot more using the cable version instead now that this charging stand is at my desk and no longer at my bedside table. The charging stand is also fast charging compatible, meaning it can go up to 10 watts rather than the normal 5 or 7.5. So it will allow you to charge it a little bit faster, but like I mentioned, it's still not as fast as you would get from the MagSafe. So if you're someone that really wants a fast charger or a wireless charger that's faster than normal, you will probably have better luck going with the MagSafe one rather than getting a third party overall, because honestly, all third party wireless charging stands are pretty slow compared to the MagSafe. And the third accessory is actually a really useful one for your desk, and it's a desk shelf. Now, I'm sure you've seen all of the sponsored posts or sponsored videos of the Grove Mate desk shelf, but unfortunately that one was a little bit out of my budget, as I'm sure it's a lot outside of a lot of people's budget. So I went on Amazon. This one's called the Oethia Monitor Riser Stand. This one is really great. It allows you to raise your monitor if you have it on its original stand. I have it on an arm, so it's not really rising my monitor, but it does give me another level of storage for my desk space. Now, just like any other shelf, it does give you a little bit more storage options. I like to use the under part of the shelf to hide my USB-C dock as well as my audio interface. The Scarlett Solo goes under there, that way you don't really see the light. Kind of like right now as I'm recording this video, at the corner of my eye, I can see the Scarlett Solo kind of blinking. It lets you know that you're getting some good feedback through your microphone. But whenever you're recording your desk and you can see that light, it really bothered me, so I went ahead and hid it away instead under the desk shelf. Now I also like to use the under part of the desk shelf to kind of route all of my cables. So my keyboard USB-C cable is running through under there, and all of the other stuff that goes to the USB-C dock is also under there. Now, like I mentioned, my monitor is on an arm, so it doesn't need to be on the shelf itself. But I also don't have it too high up enough, I guess, so that I can add more things under it. but I can add things to the side of it, which is where I have both of my chargers with my Apple Watch charger on the left and the iPhone charger on the right. Now, one downside of this desk shelf is that the quality isn't as great as I would have wanted to, especially at $60, $50 to $60. I think that it should have been a little bit better than what I got. It did come with some chips in it, and then also the foam pads that you have underneath to lift it were a little bit lopsided, so I kind of had to move it around a little bit, make sure that it wasn't moving around too much on my desk. But it's a really nice addition to your desk if you're looking for something cheaper than a Grove Made one and a little bit more in or within your budget. And the fourth accessory that I think you need to get for your desk is actually a microphone. Now, if you're someone that goes on a lot of video calls, a lot of conference calls for work, or you're just a content creator that wants to create some content at your desk and don't really have the space to have a whole boom arm going through for your whole office space, having a microphone that you can set on your desk is actually really useful, and especially if you don't have a room that's sound treated, whenever you can get the microphone closer to your mouth, so closer to the source of the sound, so usually closer to your mouth, obviously that's where you're talking through. It'll actually help you out a lot more because it doesn't produce that echo. It doesn't allow for the voice really to travel throughout the room. You can speak straight into the microphone instead. Now, I do recommend that you get the Rode PodMic microphone. That's the one I landed on even after using the Shure SM7B. When I compared both of them for my own personal taste, the difference really wasn't big enough, or I guess 4 times as much, because if you don't know, the PodMic is $100 and the SM7B is $400. So the sound difference wasn't really worth the extra price for me. And I think that you won't really need something as great as SM7B just for content creation or for conference calls. Now, something about the microphone is that you will need an audio interface because it is XLR only. I use the Scarlett Solo, and if you're a content creator that already has an audio interface with XLR input, this will work with that as well. It doesn't need phantom power, so you can go ahead and just use it, just kind of plug and play. And then it also is very good at rejecting any noise from the other sides of the room, any ambient noise, unless you really have to crank up the decibels, the gain. But other than that, it's really great, or better than a MacBook microphone or your laptop microphone, because it doesn't pick up everything from around. So if someone is in the other room or you have really noisy neighbors, the microphone does really well keeping that noise down while only picking up what you're speaking into. And now the fifth accessory that I recommend is actually paired along with the microphone. Now the microphone can be used 2 ways. It does have 2 different threads inside. It can be a 1/4 inch thread or a 3/8 of an inch thread. So I think it's really useful to get a monitor arm that clamps to your desk, that is helpful. That way you don't have it always in front of you. Like I mentioned, if you're using it for calls or using it for content creation, if you have the microphone on the table in front of you with a stand, actually let me show you so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about. So here it is. So if you're using your microphone on a stand like this and you're using it for a work call, your keyboard and your mouse aren't really going to have any space to go. It's always going to be in front of you. So unless you're using it only for content creation where you can talk like I'm talking here to the camera and you don't need your microphone or you don't need your keyboard or mouse, then I recommend that you get the monitor arm, because then you can move it around, you can take it out of place, you can move it away from you, and then you still have space on your desk to use your keyboard and mouse whenever you need it. Now the one I'm using is the Elgato mic arm. It does have an HP or high profile or an LP or low profile, and just like the name implies, high profile just means that it's going to be higher on your desk, or it's allowed to be used kind of like a boom arm. It does come with a little extension thing so that you can raise it higher in case you want to boom it above your monitor. Or the low profile, as the name implies as well, is a lower profile mic arm so that you can boom it from underneath your monitor. This is more kind of like for the gamers that want to be talking into the microphone. You can boom it from underneath and still have the microphone closer to your mouth. You have it under your monitor so it doesn't get in the way, and it's also not blocking your monitor while you're playing. Now another thing the mic arm includes is a weight, which is really helpful for those of you that have a microphone that's actually really light. If you don't have a microphone that's like the PodMic and weighs 2 pounds, because it is spring loaded, it will bounce up or get higher. So it does come with a weight that you can just add to the top of it. It just clamps on and it allows you to still be or have that adjustable mic arm without really pushing the microphone up all the time. Really, in the end, all of these accessories are things that I use daily, whether it's for my work or my content creation, and I think that they'll be really useful for you as well. They're really basic. They're really something that a lot of people skip because they think, oh, this is something that no one really is going to use, and instead they focus on the extravagant and really expensive items that really everyone might use maybe once or twice, and then they just never get used again. Let me know though, what do you think in the comments? Are these items that you already have, or are they something that you were already thinking of getting? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you for sticking around to the end, and I will catch you on the next one.